Hi, Don here. Today we're going to do the rear brake pads on this 2007 Ford Police Interceptor. This procedure is the same for a Grand Marquis Town Car, Crown Victoria, or the Police Interceptor, so all the hardware is the same. Now, truth time, I actually did this video yesterday, but then when I was looking at it to upload it, I noticed that the camera wasn't pointing in quite the right place for part of the procedure, so I wanted to do it right. So, hardcore person that I am, I took off the new pads that I put on yesterday and put the old ones back on just so I could go back through the procedure. So, here's the caliper, and so what we're going to need to do this is we'll need a 10mm wrench, we'll need a hammer, and we'll need a 6-inch C-clamp. And so we have the car jacked up, it's sitting on a jack stand. So here we go. This whole procedure, including taking off the wheel and everything, should only take about 15 minutes or so if everything goes right. So, and I may or may not do some editing on this video later, just to take out some of the silences. And because I put everything back together, I didn't tighten everything down and make it as tight as it normally would be for when you're taking these off after the car has been driven for several thousand miles. And the reason I decided to do this video is it seems like there are several videos of how to do the front brakes, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot on how to do the rear brakes for a 2007 model car. Okay, so both bolts are out. You can see they're fairly long, so we're going to put them down here. Now to get the caliper off, you'll see there's this little spring pin on here, this down here. We're going to press up on it and then just lift. There we go. All right, and we're gonna set it right up here. It's a good idea to go ahead and grease the slides right here. I don't know if you can see there is grease on here because, like I said, I did this procedure yesterday. So we're going to take out these pads. If you'll notice, I'll show you on this new, or on this what is the outer, what's the outer pad. It has this clip on here, and it also has these little tabs, which I'll show you. So here's the new pad. You can see the little tabs there, and there's the spring clip, and there's the tension clip. So unless you're very, very strong, you're going to need a hammer. And so we're going to just take this out like this. We're going to set this up here with the outer pad just sort of hanging out over this. Try not to set it right on the rotor because you can take a chance on damaging the rotor, and you don't want to do that. So we're just gonna tap this out, and what I'm doing, I actually have this caliper setting on the piece that it attaches to. There we go. So we got one side out. Sometimes when you're doing one side, you get one side out, and then you're doing the other side, then this side might slip back up, or it might just fall right out like it just did. So then we have this inner pad, and it just pops right out. It has this little clip here. Just a little interesting side note: if you're working on a 2001 model Crown Victoria or Police Interceptor, this may be the same with the Grand Marquis and the Town Car, but Ford was changing over to a different caliper type. So you had this phenolic, which is the 1-inch diameter clip, and then you had the steel, which is the 1 3/4 inch clip. I think the phenolic was more heavy duty. I think I may have to check my sources on that. But so anyway, I had a couple of 2001 model Crown Vics, and fortunately they had the same size, or unfortunately, because it'd be really cool if I had an old pad that I could show you how to do it. So now we're just going to take this pad. We need to push the piston back into here. So we're just going to take this old pad and take our C-clamp, and we're just going to put it on the back of the. Make sure this camera is pointing the right way, because it's a little warm outside and I really don't want to do this video a third time. So we just have this sitting on the back of up against the back of the caliper, and we're just gonna push this piston back in. I'm gonna move the camera so you can kind of see about how far the piston is out, and we're gonna take this and push it back in. There is a tool that's made it's to do this job, but as you can see, there's also another tool, and it's called a 6-inch C-clamp. Alright, so, and you'll know when it's done, because the piston just will not go in anymore. It's gone as far as it can go. Alright, so we'll get this off of here, and we're going to take our new rear pad that has this little clip here. We're gonna set it on here, clip it into place. Okay. It is recommended that I'll move this camera out of the way, that you inspect your rotors to see if they need turning. The rotors should be just glassy smooth, and you can see there's a little bit of grooving on the rotor here. Not really enough to warrant getting it turned, but you know, it never hurt, because despite how it looks, these are still quite smooth. And so we have that done, and so now we're going to take the outer pad and we're just going to set it up here. We're going to line up these tabs with these holes, and okay, we'll just set it up there. And we're just gonna tap this in place. You won't need nearly the amount of pressure to get this in place. And you can feel it kind of pop into place. All right, so we're gonna put this back in. Make sure that your brake line is straight and not kinked, you know, when you put it back on, because you certainly don't want that to happen. So when you put this in, if you look at these where the guide pins are, this is where the bolts go in that we took out earlier. They're on this rubber boot, which gives them sort of a spring loaded action. When you put them back on the rotor, you want to make sure these are pulled all the way back, because otherwise it's going to hang up back here and you won't be able to get it on the rotor. So I'm going to pull that back, and we're going to do this side first, and then we're going to do this bottom side. And we're just doing the opposite of what we did earlier. So we're going to lift this clip, this tension spring, and make sure this is pulled back here. Okay, and it just pops right into place. So we're going to put our bolts back in the holes and just start turning it. Okay, that one's caught in the threads, and we're going to take this one, and you might have to, you know, kind of play with where it is to get it to. You might have to, you know, kind of rock this back and forth a little bit to get it to catch. So now these are just going back on. And we'll hand tighten them as best we can. Then we'll take our 10mm wrench. We're going to tighten these. I'm sure there's a torque setting for these. Honestly, I don't know what it is. I'm not a professional mechanic. I'm just an average guy who likes to work on his own vehicle, you know, whenever possible, to save some money. So you want to get them nice and snug, and so then when you get done doing this, you'll go back in the car and you'll start it. This after you get the wheel back on and everything, and put your foot on the brake and press on it. The pedal is going to go all the way to the floor. That's because of what you did with the piston. The pressure in the line just needs to build back up. So we just pump it a few times. You know, pump it 5 or 6 times. Should be enough to get it back up to where it normally is. Let me kind of show you. You can see kind of a gap in here, and maybe maybe, I don't know, just a little bit of a gap. That will tighten up when once you get the pressure in place, because obviously there's a little bit of gap on these. Otherwise you would go through brake pads every couple of weeks, but there shouldn't be that much of a gap, so that's nothing to worry about. So that's all. And like I said, this should work on a Crown Victoria, a Grand Marquis, a Police Interceptor, a Town Car. Again, this is for a 2007 model, but the procedure is the same, from, just for a wide range of years. And it probably works on other Ford products too. Something else that you might want to do is in this age of technology, before you take everything apart, just take your cell phone and snap a picture of it. There we go. So that way, if you get pulled away from your job, then doing this, and you come back to it and you're trying to remember, was the spring, was it up here or was it down here? Because the pads, for the other side, they're kind of side specific. So you can just look at your picture and remember, okay, this is the passenger side, and so I need the pad with the spring that's right here. So that's it. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any comments or questions, again, please, feel free to comment. And, I'm kind of excited, about just being able to do this. These pads cost me about $20 if I'd taken it to a shop. The labor would have been, $50, $60, $75 just for one side, plus the cost of the pad. So I'm saving quite a bit of money. So that's all. I'm going to let it go at that. I'm going to put the wheel back on and the wheel cover, and you enjoy. Have a good day. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. Bye.